What's good? And thank you for tuning in for another round of open mic session with DJ and my bro Zen. Today we're going to talk about 8 Mile. We're going to talk about marriage. We're going to talk about anything that we could possibly think of because it is an open mic and that's what we do on open mic. So without further ado, yay, Zen, thanks for being on the show. So back to what we were talking about behind the scenes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
I'm gonna say
yeah.
it. I'm gonna say it so everybody, so this can be on the record.
Okay.
B Rabbit killed Papa Doc in that rap battle. Regardless, he killed him. He murdered him.
And Papa Doc didn't have to say a word, and he still won. The only reason why Papa Doc actually lost that because he didn't say anything. He just dropped the mic, so he forfeited. All Papa Doc had to do was agree with what B Rabbit was saying, and he would have won the whole thing.
If you've ever been in a rap battle, if you've ever seen a rap battle, it's more than just the green. He would have literally had to say everything that B Rabbit said plus more. Because again, when you're in that battling, and as somebody who's been picked on, whenever the hardest thing for somebody to do is to pick on you when you're picking on yourself. So if you go out and you say, you know what, hey bro, I am A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z. I am everything you're about to say. That is who I am, and I'm proud of it. You're taking the ammunition away from the person, so they can't, So then they got to think, okay, well now what am I gonna say about him because he's already aired out my grievance against him. Now where B Rabbit killed him at was he called him out for being a fake gangster. Basically, we'll say fake gangster for basically saying that he came from the cut, he had this hard knocks life, and he didn't. So, fun fact, like I was telling you behind the scenes, a lot of people don't know. I'm a big fan of Anthony Mackie. Eminem is one of my greatest of all time rappers. Like, I'm a fan of both of them. Eminem wasn't talking about Papa Doc in that movie. He was actually talking about Anthony Mackie, the actor himself.
Okay. So, well, can you explain that though? Like, what exactly did Anthony Mackie tell him that he did in the movie?
So all that stuff where Eminem was like Clarence parents got a real good marriage and all that stuff where he came from and the background of Papa Doc, that was actually Anthony Mackie's background, not Papa Doc's.
And that's actually dope. That's actually dope. Even though I still believe that he lost that battle because he dissed himself a lot worse. A lot worse. Listen, I would rather have a funny name because me, myself, I have a funny name. But if I know I beat you up in the background, if I know I had sex with your wife in the background, if I know I did all this crazy stuff in the background or whatever, and your response was, your name is Arturo or your name is Clarence. Okay, what else are you going to say about me? I got two parents? Whoop-de-doo. So I mean, that means I'm accomplishing something or whatever because my family actually love each other. But my question is, why do people think gangsters like B Rabbit, because he came from a nice family or whatever, that he can't be a gangster? When the average gangster acts, not the average gangster, but the real gangsters usually come from a rich background, I guess.
Okay, a
A
stable
richer
household.
background. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, not a stable household because I'm pretty sure the father, the mom's ass and all that. But outside of that, though, they come from a rich background.
So, okay, so I'm gonna give you my opinion. I think what really makes a gangster is the mindset because I grew up around them. I knew them. I personally wasn't one, but I knew them. But it was the mindset that went behind it. You know what I'm saying? I think the greatest example I can give or I could say is American Gangster, Denzel Washington's American Gangster. That dude, Frank Lucas, was a gangster. He was the definition of a gangster. He was very quiet with what he did, but you knew not to cross him.
Facts. And I'll tell you this, you was absolutely right about a gangster is all in the mind. Because I've been around gangbangers. There's a lot of gangbangers out there, whatever. That doesn't mean that you're like a gangster. The gangster legit have like the mentality of like, I think they're more structured. Like they speak on business, they speak on family, they speak on a lot of stuff that's gonna build them up. Gangbangers are the ones that's out there, whatever, just doing willy nilly and all that. So I'll tell you this though. That's why I said whenever it comes to like being a gangster, you have to have a mindset of having a family or having like a money thought process, whatever, because a lot of gangsters, whatever, do speak on them growing themselves up to gain power. A lot of the people that's in the bad neighborhoods or in the hood or whatever just stay in that mindset to a point where they want to follow the world or whatever because they're trapped inside of like an enslaved like mindset basically. So
Mhm.
I pretty much think that a lot of these gangsters right now legit have to have like a guidance of money or like a stable household.
I agree with your point on there the difference between a gangster and a gangbanger. You know, gangsters have principles, and that's one of the things that I learned in the streets. There's principles. There's certain things that you just don't do. Mama's house, mama, you respect your mama. You respect grandma's house. Grandma's house is off limits. You don't do dirt at grandma's house. You don't do dirt, where grandma can find out. Even though grandma may know about what you do, you don't bring that to grandma. You
Right,
respect grandma. You help
right,
out. You know, the elderly folks in the neighborhood, they're off limits. You look after them. You're supposed to take care of them. There was a code to being a gangster. These gangbangers, these little gangbangers, they don't have codes. They don't have that same set of rules and core values that the gangsters have. They want to claim the title gangster, but what really are they doing besides being a menace to society?
right, right, right. So if you look at like all the like the rappers today, like say I don't know if you know anything about like NBA Boy or NLE Chopper, like people
Mhm.
like that basically. Would you consider them gangsters or gangbangers because they're in gangs? Like I think NLE Chopper is a Crip and NBA Boy is a Blood and all that. Like, would you consider them actual gangsters, or would you
I
consider
don't
them just
because I don't follow today's music and I don't really like today's music. I can't really tell you about them personally because I don't know anything about them. So I don't feel comfortable speaking whether they are or are not. It's not, like people like I know about I know about the game, you know, the rapper The Game. His
okay? Okay.
situation was he's a blood and his tea lady's a Crip. Snoop Dogg. We all know he's a Crip. We know. I know about a lot of the high profile gangsters. I mean gangbangers that made good, but I mean as far as NBA YoungBoy and them, I can't really say for sure or not. I mean, if they are, they're known locally in their areas. I can't really say that their names have came across my internet, my web searches or anything else like that.
Now I feel that. I feel that. Like, so the reason why I say that because I'm just gonna say somebody else, MC Hammer, right?
Mhm,
Like we all know Hammer for dancing and just like rapping and partying and all that.
mhm,
But yet, if you have beef with MC Hammer, like it's gonna be a problem for the entire community. Like because MC Hammer is a real gangster, he don't have to say it out on Front Street. So like the thing about like an actual gangster, they know that their morals matter more than what people think of them and all that. So like that's why I brought up no, like not like NBA Boy and the Elite Chopper, but they talk about certain stuff that they want to do instead of just doing it and just keeping it in the background and all that. So when it comes to actually being a gangster or whatever, you understand like you said, taking care of your family, like taking care of the elders, taking care of the kids and all that means a lot more than proving yourself to the world.
mhm.
You're still doing that stuff or whatever, but you're making sure everything else is safe around you. So yeah, so I mean that's what I think a gangster is, whatever, like that. Somebody that's built to build the community up, plus mean like mean business when business happen. So yeah, so I mean,
Now the question we got to circle back to is
facts.
Papa
I'm
Doc
about to.
didn't Papa Doc didn't embody none of that. At least nothing that was shown in the movie, he didn't embody that. You know what I'm saying? That's why B Rap said you can't be a halfway crook. Either you're a full gangster or you're not. It's one thing to come from a good background. It's one thing to come from this and from that. But if you're gonna aspire to the title of gangster, what are you standing on? What's the business that you're standing on? I mean, even and I'm not again, I'm not even gonna say drugs. We're not even gonna talk about drugs. If your thing is money and you don't play about your money, what are you doing to secure it? What are you doing? Gangsters, they think long term, not short term. You know, again, we'll go back to American Gangster. He lived a quiet life. He lived a quiet life. Nobody he was flying under the radar for so long with the amount of stuff he was doing because he didn't believe in showing out. He didn't believe in being what's the word, lavish. Now you got to remember, he didn't come up on the radar. Frank Lucas didn't come up on the radar until he wore that mink coat to that boxing match. That's actually what put him on the radar.
I feel that. I feel that. But what about the time when he shot Idris Elba in the face? Just to prove a point in front of like everybody. Remember that? So like I see what you're saying though. I see what you're saying. He didn't want to wear that mink coat or whatever because it was too
Flashy.
bubbly. Yeah, it's too fashion like basically. But he did not have to do that in front of the people, but he wanted the people to fear him at the same time.
Yes.
So like I would also consider that a gangster moment too and all that because he actually had the power to do so. But he also wanted to be seen at the same time.
Yeah, you want to be. It raises the question. It raises the all-time question. Is it worth more to be loved and respected, or is it worth more to be feared and respected?
What, is it worth more?
Which is better? Which is better?
Love.
Is it better to be loved and respected? But the thing with being loved is sometimes you have people who will walk over you.
Not
See,
if they respect you though.
if they yeah, even though people can respect you and still push their boundaries and see where they can get with and see where they can how far they can get. See, Frank Lucas chose, I'd rather be feared and respected than loved and respected. He figured, I'll get love eventually, but I need to set my boundaries. This is where I draw the line. Even when he shot Idris Elba in the face and killed him, it was a gangster moment. He didn't take more than what was owed to him, but it was only after he warned him so many times about paying him that he did what he did. Even when he beat the bricks off his brother and told him, "You block that, don't wipe it, you blot it."
It's an alpaca. You block that. That's my movie, man.
It was still about setting boundaries, and within those boundaries, he earned the love of the people because he gave back to the people. But the people knew, hey, this is where you don't. This is the line you don't cross with him because it will end badly for you. The thing with being loved and respected, and this is just my own opinion. The thing about being loved and respected is you want to hold on to that love for so long, and you're willing to do anything to maintain the love and to maintain that outlook, disposition. I want them to like me. So because I want them to like me, I'm gonna let some things go. I'm gonna be flexible on some things instead of standing our ground, and whoever rocks with it, whoever doesn't. You feel what I'm saying?
So, quick question though, like we're we're talking about love and respect it. But if somebody is willing to use you based off of your love, where does the respect come in then? That's the case. Because that means like if they're willing to use you for what they can get out of you, that means that it's lack of respect in the first place. So that's what I'm saying. Like when it comes to actual love and fear,
Mhm,
those are like less. I believe the respect factor is more powerful than the love and the fear situation. Because just
mhm,
like what you said about Frank Lucas, he gave to everybody, and he also killed somebody and all that. So that means he was loved and feared at the same time. But the
mhm.
respect was still there. So I think the respect itself was more powerful than both of them.
True.
Well, question though.
But
Question,
mhm,
did they respect him because they feared him? Or did they respect him because they loved him?
I think with Frank Lucas's case,
Okay.
I think they respected him because they feared him.
Okay. 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 So Now I feel that. So okay, so say if we're talking about Frank Lucas now. Say if you take one of those things away. Say if you see like a big time drug dealer, Frank Lucas. Big time drug dealer, don't give to anybody. He don't give turkeys, he don't give anything. He don't give money to anybody or none of that. He don't bring his family around or nothing. But he kills somebody. And he started killing people. He started killing people. How do you think the community will look at him there when they just fear him? They don't do anything, they just fear him.
Well, I think the community wouldn't have gravitated to him the way they did if he was just a tyrant.
Right.
But because he gave back to the community, that's what made Frank Lucas, the community, gravitate towards him, was because he provided an act of service, even though he was using cruelty to get his point across. He still provided an act of service out of love to help those. So it goes back what really makes a tyrant. You know what I'm saying? Like, heavy is the head that wears the crown. I can basically, the way, and again, this is my own opinion, I can do all the cruel things I want to certain people as long as I'm giving back to the majority of people. If the majority of people is not subject to my cruelty, they're gonna love me and they're gonna gravitate towards me. Now, so it's just like this, and then we'll jump to the next topic. It's just like this.
After that, I gotta say what, like, I gotta.
Yeah.
No,
so here it is. So I'm this big time kingpin, and everybody in the neighborhood knows I'm this big time kingpin, and I set these ground rules. And the ground rules that I set is, moms are off limits, grandmas are off limits, kids are off limits. Okay, and you violate those rules, and you work for me, you violate those rules, and I punish you. Is that an act of cruelty, or is that just me standing on business? Because I already told you, moms, grandmas, and children are off limits.
Well, like, you're standing on business. You're definitely standing on business. But the thing is though, like, what was I going to say? And now, hold on. So you're saying like the principle matters more than like the fear or the love or something?
I mean, the principle is the cause of the fear. Your principle is your causality for the fear. Because you got to think about it. If I stand on my principles and you violate my principles, you violate what I say because I'm running the show, you violate it, you cross my line, and I punish you for it, that there lies the fear. Now people know I have to maneuver within this set of boundaries, because if not, if I go against the grain, I can get a bullet to the brain.
I mean, I agree. Like, I mean, don't disrespect those boundaries or whatever. But here's the thing, though. So, like, what I was getting at, like, cause I personally think love is more important than fear, because like that's why I was bringing up, like, if you just take away the giving part and just have like the drug dealing and then the killing, they're just gonna fear that person or whatever, and they're gonna want to take that person out. But say if you take away the killing, but he's selling drugs and he's still giving and he's being kind to the world and all that, they're gonna want to protect him. They got respect for him and love for him or whatever. So the thing is, when you're feared without the respect, they're gonna want to take you out. Whether it's the cops, whether it's people that want to kill you, or whatever. But if you're actually giving back while doing dirt, the community will protect you in some sort of way.
Definitely agree.
So that's why I think the love is way more powerful than the actual fear.
All right. So if you're new to this, go on and hit that like, follow, comment, share, and subscribe button. If you are true to this, go on and leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about this week's episode, and I'll catch y'all again on the next one. Peace.